Before we go any further, take a moment and hit that subscribe button. This channel is made for people who understand the weight of real money, the patience of real collecting, and the satisfaction that comes from discovering value where others see nothing. If you appreciate history, craftsmanship, and the quiet power of rare coins, stay with me until the very end, because today's story is one that speaks directly to experience, memory, and long-term vision. Now take yourself back to 1978. Life moved with purpose. Men worked hard, saved carefully, and respected the value of what they earned. Cash was king. Coins weren't decoration or novelty. They were tools of daily life. When you carried money, you felt it. You heard it. You knew exactly what it could buy. And among all the coins circulating in South Africa at that time, the 1 Rand coin stood tall. It wasn't small change. It carried authority. It represented stability, trust, and real purchasing power. The 1978 South African 1 Rand coin comes from a period when coin production balanced strength and artistry. This was not an era of disposable money. Coins were designed to last, struck with care, and built to survive heavy use. The metal composition gave the coin a solid feel, while the design carried national identity and pride. When you held a 1 Rand coin in 1978, you felt its presence. It meant something that the center of the design is the Springbok, alert and powerful, a symbol deeply tied to South Africa's spirit. The engraving was deep and confident. The lettering was bold and clear. The edges were firm. This was not a rushed product. It was the result of skilled minting during a time when quality still mattered more than speed. Coins from this era have a character that modern pieces simply cannot replicate, but strength alone does not guarantee survival. In fact, the very usefulness of the 1978 1 Rand coin worked against it. These coins circulated heavily. They were used every day at shops, markets, transport counters, cafes, and petrol stations. They moved constantly from hand to hand. They were tossed into pockets with keys, stacked in cash drawers, dropped on hard floors, and forgotten in dusty corners. Over time, that daily use erased detail, softened edges, and dulled surfaces. This is where true rarity begins. Not at the mint, but in the decades that followed. Collectors know that millions of coins can be struck, but only a tiny number survive in exceptional condition. The 1978 1 Rand coin is a perfect example of this reality. While many worn examples still exist, finding one with sharp detail, clean fields, original luster, and no signs of circulation is extraordinarily difficult. Time has been unforgiving to this coin. For collectors between the ages of 55 and 65, this coin carries a personal connection. Many remember using it. Many remember what 1 Rand could buy. Many remember a time when money felt solid and dependable. That connection matters. When a collector can tie memory to metal, the coin becomes more than an object. It becomes a piece of their own story. And that emotional bond drives demand in a way price guides never can. Another powerful factor is the transitional nature of the late 1970s. This period sits at the crossroads between traditional minting practices and the push toward mass efficiency. Coins from 1978 still carry the hallmarks of careful engraving and strong strikes, but subtle changes in production began appearing. These changes created slight variations, differences in strike sharpness, surface texture, and detail clarity. To an untrained eye, they look identical. To an experienced collector, they are worlds apart. Early strikes from fresh dies are especially desirable. These coins show exceptional clarity in the Springbok's form, sharper lettering, and stronger overall definition. They stand out immediately when placed next to later strikes. Finding one of these early, high-quality examples today is incredibly rare, and when they surface, they attract serious attention. Condition separates the ordinary from the extraordinary. A circulated 1978 1 Rand coin tells a story of use, but a mint-state example tells a story of survival. These are the coins that were set aside intentionally or forgotten accidentally, perhaps stored in a drawer, sealed in a roll, or tucked away and never touched again. Decades later, they emerge looking almost impossible for their age. Professional grading has elevated the status of these coins even further. When a 1978 1 Rand coin is certified in top condition, it becomes a documented survivor. Its quality is no longer debated. Serious collectors trust grading, and they compete fiercely for the highest examples. That competition drives value upward, especially when supply is extremely limited. International interest has also grown. Collectors around the world are paying closer attention to African coinage, particularly coins from the 1970s that combine age, history, and strong design. These coins are no longer overlooked. They are being added to long-term collections, museum holdings, and private vaults. Every coin that disappears into a collection reduces the number available to the market. Time continues to work in favor of rarity. Every year, more coins are damaged, cleaned improperly, lost, or destroyed. Meanwhile, interest from experienced collectors remains strong. Men who understand patience and long-term value know that true rarity reveals itself slowly. They are not chasing trends. They are preserving history. Now imagine the finest known example of the 1978 South African 1 Rand coin. A coin that never entered circulation. A coin with full original luster, flawless surfaces, razor-sharp detail, and perfect balance. The Springbok appears alive. The lettering is crisp and proud. The coin feels as solid today as it did the moment it left the mint. This is not just a collectible, it is a benchmark. Such a coin becomes legendary. It is the kind of piece that defines a collection, the kind of coin that experienced collectors speak about quietly and pursue patiently. Ownership represents knowledge, discipline, and foresight. It proves that value does not always announce itself loudly. Sometimes it waits. Everything comes together here. The era, the heavy circulation, the low survival rate in top condition, the emotional connection, the growing global demand, and the timeless appeal of real money from a disciplined age. When all of these forces align in one exceptional coin, the result is extraordinary that you've stayed through the history, the craftsmanship, the wear, the rarity, and the collector's mindset. Now, at the very end, we arrive at the figure that turns curiosity into legend. The 1978 South African 1 Rand coin, in its rarest, finest, highest grade form, carries a potential value of $300 million.